Good evening and welcome back to the channel. I am Level 1 Online. Good to have you guys here. Tonight we have ourselves a very special guest, impromptu invitation. Overthink Gaming is in the house. Say what's up to everybody, Overthink.
Hey, what's up everyone? Hey, I appreciate the invite to the show, man. This is gonna be a fun one.
Awesome. So tonight we're gonna have a discussion primarily focused around the Mr Fpga setup. There was a video that was dropped today by Metal Jesus Rocks. Great video, great video. I just feel it was lacking in a few areas. I will say this, trying to put this show together, trying to gather my thoughts, right? There's so much to talk about when it comes to the MiSTer, and I just felt he really didn't pump it up the way and hype it up the way it really needs to be hyped up, in my humble opinion. Give me just a moment. And let me go ahead and greet everybody who's here. We got Mick Heroes in the house. Smash JT is here. He says, stream's gonna crash for sure. Internet can't handle this much awesomeness. Radical Reggie says, why wasn't I invited? Next time, Reggie. Next time. Stampede Gaming is in the house. He was playing Rockman 2 this evening. Good to see you. Smash JT, where's my invite? Yeah, sorry guys. Filippo Soa's here. Good to see you. So, let's start with this question to you, Overthink. How did you hear about Mr Fpga?
Dude, from you. I saw some of your videos. I saw you talking about MiSTer, and I had to ask you. I was all like, dude, what is up with the MiSTer? I kept seeing people talk about it on Twitter. I just saw it around, and I kept hearing, you know, with Analog, the Fpga. What's all this Fpga talk? So yeah, when I asked you about MiSTer, man, you filled me in, and you got me hyped up about it, man.
Very nice. I still remember that conversation we had. I was on the rooftop of my job and just looking out over the sunset, and I was just like, it was, you know, trying to explain to you how awesome this thing is, you know. And we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover all the details in regards to what this thing can do. I actually do have it loaded up over here on another screen, so we can dive into and explain some stuff. And it is fully customizable. For example, this background can be changed, but this is a brand new setup that I just installed, so I still haven't customized it yet. The other thing I was going to say, you did bring up Twitter. You said that it was talked all over about on Twitter. Funny thing is when you did your video, Pork Chop Express, who I believe is Mr. Add-ons, correct me if I'm wrong, he actually shared out your video. And the funny thing is, that's the guy who sent Metal Jesus Rocks his review hardware.
Yeah.
And you know, the first thing that comes to mind now that I've had some time to digest, was it what I want to know is, was it a preloaded image? It can work very similar to a Raspberry Pi, where you can load it up and then share it out. Or was it something that Metal Jesus Rocks set up and configured himself? Because one of the issues with the video, he ran into some snags with the older computer systems. Now, you guys know me very well if you've been watching this channel. I am not a fan of those older systems. I don't know how to customize it or how to go in there. My experience with those older systems is like Apple II, like Number Munchers, and what is that other one? Oregon Trail, right? And and then on the Windows, the MS-DOS, I did play a little bit of Castle Wolfenstein. I did play Quest for Glory, which is an old Sierra game, and I'm glad to see that he was able to figure that out. The games did run perfect, those style, but when he tried to run a little bit more advanced computer games, they did not run properly. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know what? Because I have some nostalgia, like for the, you know, DOS games back in the day. So when I got the MiSTer, I did realize they had, you know, I saw that section that said computers, but, you know, I got it for the consoles because Analog was the big talk, and that's when I had the talk with you. Hey, should I get the Mega SG? Is that what it's called? I'm sorry if I butchered that name. And you're like, dude, Then when you told me about the MiSTer, so one of the first things I saw was a computer. I tried that one core. I'm not sure if it's 486 or whatever that IBM core is. And I went straight to DOS games, dude. And it was, I didn't expect it to run great. These cores are made by devs, and I was like, okay, it ran, but I don't remember enough of DOS. I was playing DOS games and it was fine, but the MiSTer is not a 3D machine. It just never was. And I freaked out on that video. He was testing out 3D games. I'm like, all right, it's cool to test it out, but dude, he was dogging him pretty hard. I'm like, I don't think he had a full understanding exactly what the MiSTer is.
Right, exactly. And one thing I wanted to talk about, you brought up the analog devices, right? That's how the discussion started. You couldn't make up your mind if you wanted to get the Mega SG. Right.
Yes.
And I explained to you the pros and cons. I said, it's going to be able to play cartridges, right? If you have a physical collection. And these devices are geared towards, I hate to use the term, but like elitists. People that complain about like frame accuracy. They say, I want to play on real hardware. Well, this is a one-to-one copy. These FPGA devices are basically one-to-one copies of real hardware. Cycle accurate. I was waiting for him to say cycle accurate in that video.
Yes. I don't remember what he said on there. No, I think I saw a comment section that said one for one, but that's where I think he didn't have a good understanding of it, because he did say, there's when it came to the console part, that's what made me laugh. He was all like, there's many ways to emulate to, I forgot what word he used to, I guess, that other systems are emulated. I forgot exactly how he worded it, but it was just funny because it just seemed like he did. I don't know. I keep saying that he didn't know what he was talking about, but it was all like he said this is not going to be anyone's to-go console for. I mean, to play the old console games.
It is. It's my go-to.
Yes, because if you're going to play something that like needs that exact latency, you got to be precise, like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Right. You're not going to play that on the mini consoles. You're not going to play that on a Raspberry Pi. I mean, you can. But if you want, like, if you're hardcore and you play a MiSTer and you have to be pretty hardcore to notice the difference. I'm not saying I'm good at games because I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do notice the difference. It just feels smooth. I've had trouble with Raspberry Pis before where you have to mess with the polling and all that. There's a lot of lag, and I'm like, oh my God, with this you don't have to. Like, that's where I felt like he didn't understand that part when it was all like, no, this is your to-go thing, your to-go emulation for console gaming for sure.
Yeah. So I remember the question you asked me was if you should pull the trigger on that Mega SG. And I believe those things are priced at $190. And then they ask for $30 in shipping.
Yes.
Right. So you're looking at $220 and I believe plus tax. Okay. So what I said to you, I was like, you know what? For that much money, get yourself an FPGA device that plays everything, which is the MiSTer, and it's open source, and you already know your way around the Raspberry Pi and how to, burn write a SD card and all that stuff. So you should feel right at home. And
they make it real easy now.
Right. And one of the advantages, and I explained to you the pros and cons. The advantage with the analog device, you can play those physical cartridges. You can get yourself an EverDrive, or you can get yourself a SD card and jailbreak the device, right?
Yeah.
And I want to explain to you my journey of discovery, right? So I first got the I didn't have a solution for the Super Nintendo, right? Obviously, I could play it on my Raspberry Pi, but it just didn't feel the same, and I wanted a way to play it. Right? So I could have gotten an actual Super Nintendo, then go through the hassle of getting the proper cables. I didn't know if I was going to have to RGB mod it, and then from there have to get an upscaler. And then I didn't know all these steps, but the analog Super NT was announced, and I said, okay, so this is just an easy solution. So I got it, right? And then when I found out about the jailbreak is made by a fellow. Well, it's not made by him, but it's distributed. He's like the liaison. because I think it comes from one of the analog developers, but if they put out a jailbreak to their own device, it wouldn't look good, so to speak. So, you know, it was like I slipped under the table to this guy called Smoke Monster, right?
Yeah.
And then I come to find out that Smoke Monster has these things called Smoke Monster packs, right? And relating this once again to that Metal Jesus video, I think getting some clips of Smoke Monster talking about it could have helped the video, because Smoke Monster explains things in dummy talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it took me a while to catch on when he started talking about the MiSTer. I was like, what is this guy talking about? The MiSTer, blah, 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 the sister, the whatever, you know, and then I come to learn that what's in those analog devices, it's a Cyclone 5 processing chip. Right? Mm-hmm. The FPGA. And what's in those DE10 nanos, those kits, are the Cyclone 5 FPGA. So by that logic, you can develop, you know, for that DE10 nano and make something that can compete with the analog devices. So
yes, and that's... Oh, anyways, go ahead.
What I was going to say is when I heard about it, it was in its infancy. And there was only a few cores. Most of the computer cores were already done, right?
Yeah.
But what was in its infancy was like the Nintendo core, right? Now, at that time frame, if I wanted to play Nintendo and FPGA, the only solution was those analog NT minis. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah, I know they sold out real quick, and then they came back and they've been selling them. It's a thing with analog, man. They don't know how to keep their supply on purpose, man.
Do you know the price? Do you remember the price on those things?
That one was really expensive. I may have seen the resale. Was it like $300-400? I don't remember.
$500.
$500. I know it was way up there. Yeah.
$500. So that was. I'm not gonna pay $500 just to play one system. You know what I mean? Unless it's maybe like a modern, you know, like obviously Series X now and the PS5, but we're talking, you know, 2-3 years ago, $500 just to play Nintendo in high definition. I was like, you know what? I'll pass. I'll stick to my Raspberry Pi. Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure on that Metal Jesus video, he probably got a shit ton of comments saying, "Just play on a Raspberry Pi, bro," or "Just play on a clone console, bro."
And I think that's what he was going with. But dude, those analog systems, they are pretty, and that's what got to me was the shell. And they do come with like an 8-bit controller, so it's like, are you really, you know, what are you buying? But that's when you threw it down to me. You were like, dude, I would let you borrow the Mega SG if you live by me. You're like, you know, the price of the MiSTer, if you're buying, you know how many analog consoles there are in there? And not even the Neo Geo. That's what you told me. You go, a Neo Geo game, just one game, is like way more expensive than the damn MiSTer for like a popular game. And then not even including the arcade cores, accurate arcade cores. And now that MiSTer's like, you know, right now it hasn't been released yet, but they're doing that, what's it called? The MiSTercade, or I forget the name. But it's like, dude, this project is open source. And that was the difference between this and analog. It's like Apple and Android, like just having a open source system. It's endless, man. There's a lot of devs out here, and like you said, man, we gotta praise these devs. And Metal Jesus did not do that in the video. He did not praise the devs, man.
Let me
like said it vague.
Right. Let me ask you this. Brent, you brought up Neo Geo and the crazy expensive price of those games. You can obviously, you know, download them and play it on emulators, right? Raspberry Pi. It plays wonderful on the Raspberry Pi. But let me ask you this. Besides real hardware, right? Mm-hmm. Where else are you going to get that real hardware experience, that one-to-one cycle accurate of Neo Geo?
I do not know. Besides real hardware,
the only option is MiSTer.
Yeah,
the only option is MiSTer.
Exactly. And that's why you got someone as hardcore as, what's his name, Scarlet Sprites or whatever. Right. He's participating in this MiSTercade stuff. If he gives the okay, it seems like he's excited about it. You know, he's the Neo Geo man. If he's like, dude, this is good. then we'd already know. But dude, I've played a lot of Neo Geo stuff on there. It runs really good, and it just feels real good. I cannot explain it. And this is my to-go console to play all these retro games. I like screw the Raspberry Pi. Like I just can't explain it, and that's why I felt Metal Jesus video. It kind of like was, dude, do you really not know what you're playing?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so one other thing I really wish he would have covered in the video, let me go ahead and switch back to my Raspberry Pi, is right here, the scripts. So there is a very, very convenient community-driven script called Update All.
Yes.
And this script is magic. It will update all your cores, and it will also download your arcade ROMs.
Yes, and now that you're saying that, if you saw in the Metal Jesus video, he had all those arcade ROMs there, but yet he made this comment, and it kind of got to me. He's all like, the MiSTer doesn't come with copyright games or something like that. You got to do that yourself or something. And I was all like, wait, what? Like, dude, you just ran that script. But yeah, he didn't give praise to that dude, did he? Or he didn't really talk about the script at all.
Right, right. And one of the developers, I'm trying to think of his name, I believe, who participated in creating that Update All, I believe is Amore 26,000. That's a local guy, by the way, local to me. And guys like that, you just got to treat them like gold. And I know he's working on his own upscaler solution to compete with, like the OSSC and the RetroTink. And it's been talked about, I think, on Voltar's channel. But yeah, I really think for that video, he should have had maybe an expert come on, maybe like Smoke Monster, maybe even Bob from Retro RGB. He knows how to explain this stuff in dummy terms and sell it to you guys.
Yeah, I don't know if he should have gone that far. I think if they gave it to him for the purpose of review, I think he should have reviewed it. Now, if Mr. Add-ons went ahead and said, I want you to review the computer part, like I want you to focus on that, then maybe I could understand this video. I don't really know what happened there, but it seemed like he focused way too much on the computer part, and it's like he didn't have understanding, testing out these 3D games or what. I really don't. I mean, I don't really play the computer part. I don't think it's very interesting.
Right,
I don't think that's the reason why most people are buying the MiSTer. At least when I see online, I don't see many people talking about it. But it's just like he emphasized on that part really hard, and I was like, dude, you're not talking about the good stuff. Yeah. It just, I don't know.
I really think I reached out to one of my buddies, Wolfinos, this evening to ask him, was maybe something not configured right in his computer setup? Because he seemed to know a lot about those older systems. And I know he did a video where he went to like the Seattle warehouse where they had a old school pre-configured computer for him where he could play all those MS-DOS games. Yeah. So RS Matrix is here. He says that was a pretty bad review. Okay, RS Matrix is a pretty good expert on this stuff. Mr. Add-ons wouldn't have suggested anything. Okay.
All right. Yeah. I didn't think he would, and that's why I was all like, wait, what? The video just seemed weird. But Mr. Add-ons, I got to give props to him. He's awesome. What he's doing. And that case, that's one thing that Metal Jesus didn't talk about. Like, he did talk about the pricing, but like the lowest price, I forgot what he said, was in the 300s. I'm pretty sure you can get it basic a lot cheaper now. I know the D10 Nano has gone up since we got it. We got it at what, like, I think you got yours at 110. I got mine at 130. And how much are they now? 180?
So I got a like a student discount. So it was $110 free shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, Metal Jesus didn't speak. Like, you can buy it small. You can just buy that. You don't have to buy the RAM right away. You can run just Nintendo games. And is it Super Nintendo, or I don't know which ones? There's a few of them, Atari and like those older ones. Until you can build up and get the RAM, you don't need the USB hub. You can, run off a little cheap $10 one off Amazon. There's options to like put your feet in the wire. Like you taught me, that's what I did. And then slowly build up. You don't have to spend this $450 for a configured kit and all this. And I don't know, man. It's just that I felt like he just steered people, may scared a lot of people away. And I was all like, dude, I just didn't like his. There's so much about that video I didn't like, dude. That's another thing.
Yeah. So the one next topic I want to bring up is CPS 1 and 2, right? So this was recently released. These are powerhouses. Let me ask you this. If you want to play a one-to-one, cycle-accurate CPS 1 game, the original Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2, what are your options? Right? You can get, for example, the Street Fighter collection for like the PS4, but it's not accurate, right? There is issues with that game, lag issues. There is another issue with those arcade boards. Are you familiar with the, I believe it's called the suicide battery? Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so something happens with the battery, I guess when the battery dies, and it kills the board. And once the battery dies and it kills the board, like, that's it. It's something along those lines. And you need to have a professional to like replace it for you to basically save the board.
Damn. And yeah, to have something like this that can future-proof arcade boards and take over them, like the technology is so important. But yes, dude, the CP, what Joe Tago's doing there, I mean, dude, that's a dude that, I mean, any MiSTer video should at least mention his name, dude. That dude is doing, what was it that you said? He's doing God's work?
He's doing the Lord's work, yes.
That dude is awesome. And if you see interviews with him, he's just like such a happy guy. And it's dude, like, he gets so much shit, man. The thing that pisses me off is that there's people that donate to his Patreon. What he does is he works on these cores so hardcore, he'll let people beta test them. And he'll do that. And he has a Patreon open for that. This dude spends so much fucking time, more than people do at their fucking jobs. And he has a job, doesn't he? I think he spoke about his job. And it's like, dude, he just has a Patreon and he's actually providing you with fucking betas, early access to this shit. It's like, dude, I don't know why people give him shit, man. I saw it online. There was a drama thread. I was like, wow, man, this dude's like doing some hardcore shit for MiSTer, and you guys are going to scare his ass away. But nah, I guess he doesn't pay attention to that. But it was just funny when I was reading that people actually give him shit for that.
Right. So the next topic I want to talk about, what I'm playing right here, this is a Game Boy Advance game. I heard about this from Radical Reggie's channel. I think it's called like Black Belt Champions. But Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance, 3 systems, right? Do you know how much of a hassle you'd have to go through to play cycle-accurate consoleized versions of these systems?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure it's pretty hardcore, like the cycle-accurate. In Metal Jesus' video, what does he say? Oh, I forgot what word he uses. Like these are the common ones or something like that. Common contenders. Or I don't know what word he used. I'm butchering it now. But yeah, dude, I've never seen it cycle-accurate anywhere. I mean, does it analog? Analog doesn't have a
they're
attachment.
working on the analog pockets.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Supposed to be, right, the GBA solution, and I believe it will have video out, right? But look what's happened. The thing's been delayed. Yeah. Right? It's been delayed about as many times as the Amico. Can't do a stream with Overthink without bringing up the Amico.
Oh, you know what? We could do a whole damn fucking another stream on the Amico. That's a hilarious console.
But there is, I know, a modder out there that sells a HDMI modification. So you would have to get an actual GBA to do the modification. I forget the name of it, but
is it like a consolizer or some shit or what?
Yeah, I think it's called the GBA consolizer.
I heard about that. I know some people wrote it when I was talking about some mod to the GameCube and they were talking about the GBA consolizer. I'm like, yeah, I've seen it, but I didn't look deep into it because it's like, dude, if I'm gonna play anything, I'll just play it here on my MiSTer. Like, I have no other reason to even look at anything else right now.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to bring up, as far as, people griping about the the cost, think about it like this. If you wanted to recreate, if you wanted to get all those systems, let's say I broke it down to you like this when we talked. I said, if you get the analog Super NT, right, $200. You get the Mega SG, another $200. Yes. You're already over $400. Right? Then you get the NT Mini, right? Now we're at close to $1,000, and that's only 3 systems.
Yep.
Right? But then you say, okay, well, let me go with actual hardware, right? So you're going to get yourself a Nintendo, right? Then you're going to have to send it off to get RGB mod service, right? It's going to be, I think it might be, let's estimate that they'll sell you a system, at a garage sale, $30-$40, right? Then the RGB mod service, I think it's maybe like, like $80. Right? And then on top of that, you have to get the right cables. You got to get the upscaler. Now, you got to get the Super Nintendo, right? Now, you're going to go PC Engine. We haven't even talked about PC Engine and PC Engine CD. You get yourself good luck getting yourself a PC Engine CD and a clean copy of Rondo of Blood.
You know what, dude? Analog took pre-orders for that PC one, right? Or I don't remember. It's been a while. I don't keep up with Analog anymore. But weren't they putting out a PC Engine one?
No. I made a troll comment or troll post that my next prediction was that Analog they were gonna call it the.
Are you sure there's that one? I mean, it's been a while.
I think maybe the Analog Pocket might support PC Engine. I can't remember.
I could have sworn there's one. I'm gonna try to look it up right now, but I thought there was.
I mean, it's totally possible because I mean, if it's running just fine on the MiSTer, using that chip,
yeah, it's called the Duo. If you go to their website right here, TurboGrafx PC Engine, SuperGrafx, TurboGrafx CD, they do have one. I don't know if it's on pre-order or if they just teased it, but it's on the actual website. You can check it out.
Oh, okay, good to know. Yeah. How much is that?
Shit, who knows? That's another one to add to it. I bet you that bitch is expensive.
But if you're going,
it's only $199. Actually, that's not bad. Actually, that's cheaper than how much are PC engines now in TurboGrafx? Aren't they expensive?
Oh man, I don't know. I got mine gifted to me by a viewer.
Yeah, I don't keep up with OG hardware, but I remember hearing those were going up in price. But
I can tell you this: if you were to get, have you heard of the Terra Onion?
Yes, I have, and but I don't have one. I have the GDMU, but wait, that's the.
It's an attachment that goes on the rear of the PC Engine, right?
Yeah,
and you can do, and it's going to allow you to do RGB out, right? And but you're going to need those special Genesis cables, those like HD Retrovision Genesis cables, and good luck trying to find those. The point I'm getting to is that if you tried to collect all these consoles, old ass consoles, do the RGB mod, get the scalers, get the EverDrives, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars, right? This little $450 device is gonna save you a shit ton of money if you're a hardcore collector, you're a hardcore game player. You know what I mean? So big deal. It doesn't have a fancy user interface. You know what I mean? But you're going to get access to so many games, psycho accurate, and the highest fidelity possible. Yeah.
Dude, I actually like that interface, that simple old school interface. I don't know why. I like cycling through the games through that. I really dig it. But I don't care for the fanciness. Not in this.
Exactly. It's all about the games. This isn't for those guys, who have, the bookshelves full of games. Let me load up another game really quick. I mean, let's see. X-Men versus Street Fighter. My gosh, because I knew the potential that eventually CPS2. Remember, to play this, right, the CPS2, you would have to get something. You ever heard of something called a super gun?
No, I haven't.
It is look it up. It is a consoleized version of one of these arcade boards. Pretty expensive, and for somebody to collect, once again, have a super gun of every single CPS 1 and 2 game. Once again, we're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. And the reason why. I tried to break it down. The reason why it's $450 because the board went up in price. You're looking at $170. You're also gonna need to get a SD RAM chip, right? And that'll run you probably now maybe like $60 to $80 depending on who you order it from. You're gonna also need a IO board, right? Which can run you. I think the I/O board costs 100.
And the IO board is optional. That's if you want to run it through a CRT or something like that. If you just want to run it straight to a TV, you don't even need that. But if you want that fancy case,
yeah,
that MiSTer add-ons, which I got, that one that Metal Jesus has, that aluminum one.
How much was that? Like $60?
That's like 70, I want to say, if I remember correctly.
Damn.
And have you seen he's working on a new project? He just barely teased it. It's going to look like a console. It's going to have a board in there. You're going to be able to put in all your attachments, your boards. And I want to say he mentioned something about possibly it might have something to do with a dual RAM if they decide to add more RAM to like future cores or something. I think that one part I might be fucking up. But for sure, it looks like a console. If you go to his Twitter, he teased it because he's all like, I've been working on something. And I'm like, dude, this dude's doing some hardcore shit, making it actually look like a console. He's over there working with the project, throwing it in an arcade, the Mr. Cade. It's like, man, like, dude, it's blowing up, man. It's like, it's just advancing all the time. And that community is fucking hardcore, man. Like, I don't keep up with it too much because there's too much going on, man. But it's pretty badass.
Yeah, this could have been a huge breakout moment for, the MiSTer. To get more people involved, to get more money pouring in for these people's Patreons to help speed up the process. I'm looking forward to the PS1 and Saturn. There's so many Saturn games I've never played, man. I've never even attempted to emulate Saturn because I hear that the emulation on Saturn is trash, even on a high-end PC.
Yes, dude. It's up there. That and 64. For some reason, those are very hard to emulate. But yeah, I've heard that there was a dude working on the PlayStation one. First, I heard there was a dude that didn't stop, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, there was a guy that started and then he stopped for I don't know, whatever reason. Maybe real life got in the way, and then somebody else was doing their own branch, and they're doing their own thing. Yeah.
Or you see, that's the thing. It's everything is open source, so they share everything.
That's the funny thing. I don't think those two guys were comparing notes.
Oh, they weren't.
I think one of them offered, "Hey, I'll give you my notes," and the other guy was like, "No, I'm good. I got this."
Oh yeah, I don't know if it's that deep, but I know like shit. Like I've seen devs actually write in forums like, "Hey, I quit this project, but if anyone wants it, it's there." I've seen that before. I think that might have been on the television one because that one's not a core you can download. You actually have to go off websites and manually put that in there because I have the Intellivision one on mine, and it's not one that you're going to find on the script. But I think that one's incomplete, but a lot of the games do work. Just those a handful that I came across that didn't.
Yeah. So there's two things at the tail end of the video that I want to touch on. I want to get your opinion on this. He spends most of the video talking about the computer systems not working, not being up to par, right? But then at the very end, he says, "I hope this thing can run Dreamcast."
I didn't catch the part. He actually said that.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, he does think it's like a Raspberry Pi or something. He doesn't realize that this shit takes time. And
then he brings up the Chinese clone consoles.
Dude.
He does so I'll let you go off. You go ahead and say whatever you want about that.
No, when he talked about that, did he kind of sound like he was talking about the Super Nintendo Mini or the Nintendo Mini, one of those? Because he said clone consoles are $100. Did he say mini consoles? I could have swore he said mini. I would have to listen to it again.
I think he was referring to those Retron 5s.
Oh, is that what he is? I would have to hear it. I thought he said mini consoles, but I know for sure he said $100 consoles. And I cannot believe you are comparing the fucking MiSTer to $100 fucking clone console. What the fuck? That's an embarrassment, man. If I was MiSTer add-ons, I would have been so fucking pissed. Like, dude, I gave it to the fucking wrong person. I understand MiSTer add-ons, he gave it to someone big, a big influencer to put the name out there. That was the right move. He did nothing wrong. It's just the dude that he gave it to compared it to a fucking clone console, $100 one. It's like, dude, that was horrible. Sorry, I don't really have much to say on that, but when I heard that, dude, I'm like, dude, I'm done. Like, that was the end of the video. I was like, dude, this video fucking sucked. And I looked at the like to dislike ratio because I know how passionate the MiSTer community is. I guess not a lot of them had seen it because it was very low in the dislikes.
I checked the Facebook group to see if people were up in arms about it, and there was just like no comment. It was just like wandering out there in the wilderness. Like somebody posted it, and in a 2-hour time frame, it didn't get any likes or any comments. Very strange.
Weird, because you know that MiSTer community, they are looking up videos that they're almost as bad as like the Miko community or
maybe it's one of those things they wanted to stay underground, and so they're not gonna make a big fuss out about it. Like, okay, good, they still haven't discovered our little secret.
It's for sure the MiSTer's not gonna be a mainstream console. Metal Jesus was proof. I mean, the mainstream ain't gonna understand it, dude. This is the thing for hardcore retro fucking gamers. Like, it's so niche. It's like if you want to play something that's just accurate, that feels good, that kind of what you remember from back in the day, you could hook it up to the CRT if you want. Everyone does that. I'm not into the whole CRT thing, because I think with the CRT for the MiSTer, you do need the component, right? Is that correct, or is it the? I get them mixed up. I know whatever CRT, I couldn't hook it up. It just my cables wouldn't work. But I was all like,
oh, you know what? To do that, you need a VGA to component. It was like a $10 cable, and then you have to go into the MiSTer.nin file and enable the YPBPRBR thing.
You see, I did all that, and I have that cable. And then
there's a switch. Did you flick the switch?
Yeah, I got it working, but the thing is, my TV is like composite. It's the opposite.
Oh, it doesn't have component. It doesn't have the 3.
Yeah. Wait. Am I getting them mixed up? Sorry. But yeah, it was like coming out black and white and shit like that.
You got to get yourself the TV, the CRT with the red, green, and blue in the back.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yes, and it'll work that way. I have the fucking cable. And it's like, shit, man. And I researched, and there's no way to... I mean, there's ways that people do it, I think, but it's not like just a cable. And it's very expensive. I was like, dude, fuck this, man. I just need to find the correct TV for that to work. But yeah, it's for... Well, basically what I was saying, it's for the hardcore people, man. And you don't need to do all that. You can... I think it looks fine on a fucking... a regular TV, HDMI TV. It looks good.
Yeah, and there's another thing he forgot to bring up, is the fact that you can load ROMs into this thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge homebrew community. Even if you're not going to load up, copyrighted material, there's a shit ton of homebrew. And I'm going to load up a homebrew. Let me see if I can load up. I'll tell you what, let's see. Let's load up... not even also homebrew, but also there's people that are making games and selling them, right? So the one I'm going to load up now, you ever heard of Xenocrisis?
Yes, dude, that game is fun. The twin stick shooter?
Yes,
that game is fun, man.
So yeah, this game looks amazing. What I want to do really quick, I want to actually, because we're talking about clone consoles, and I just thought of it. Do you remember those ACT game devices?
Oh, they were horrible. The Sega one, I think Hancock got into some drama over that.
Do you remember, have you actually heard how bad it sounds?
Yes, I saw it through the video, dude. It was, even Sonic, they couldn't get that game down.
I'm going to play it for the chat right now. Give me just a moment. Alright, so that is what it sounds like when a Genesis dies. Let me play that again for you guys. 1 second. Okay, the whole point of this exercise is to just show you guys that sometimes emulation, clone consoles is not the best solution. You know, you want to relive those childhood memories, right? You want it to feel and look and play like you remember it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And one thing I love to do is I love to share those memories, you know, especially on this channel, you know. And I've tried to show like real life friends in the past. I'm talking like 10, 20 years ago, and they'll just walk away and be like, oh, that sucks. But I'm pretty sure now when I show anybody, right, all this stuff, even a mini console, it's come such a long way, they're impressed. They're like, wow, I want one too, you know?
Yeah, and what's so hardcore about the MiSTer with the Sega is that you can choose what sound, like Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. I forgot what the exact name of the sound chips, whatever are. I think it's in there. But you can actually make it sound like, because they had little different sounds. It's just crazy. That's too hardcore for me, but I saw it in there.
Nice. Okay. All right. So one final segment before we wrap this up. There were some comments dropped on the video from today, the one I recorded during the day. Did you catch that video? Yeah, I sent it to you. So let me see if I can pull that up. Give me just a moment. And I want to get your thoughts on that as well. Let me see. Where's my videos? There was a comment from Blitzkrieg. There was a comment from Retro Rican. And there was a comment from Victory Leo. Give me just a second. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I read this pinned comment really quick. Blitzkrieg said, for $500 tax included for the model I would want, I'm not interested at all. Then you have to set it up. For that much cash, the MiSTer better be ready to go right out the box. Okay, so timeout right there. If you search places like eBay, I'm pretty sure there's probably somebody out there who will sell you a preloaded MiSTer image. Number one. Yeah. And if you really, really look, there might be a torrent site that might have a preloaded MiSTer image. Okay? So let's continue. And it's not 100% perfect running all the games. You see, that's the bad impression that the video gave.
Yes.
The console systems run damn near perfect, right? GBA, Super Nintendo, PC Engine, Sega CD. Holy shit.
Yeah, the Sega CD one runs good. I use that one sometimes.
Let me go back to the main menu and just so I don't forget any of the systems. Hold on.
Yeah, it's definitely not a console. I mean, I think people expect it to work straight out of the box like that. Part of it is tinkering with it. Like, the first thing you're going to do is set up your controller. You know, it's not a plug and play just yet. I think someday maybe, but not yet.
Let's go down the list. Astrocade, the Atari systems, Atari Lynx. What the hell is A3850? I don't know, ColecoVision, Game Boy 2. There's a Game Boy 2 player core.
What? I haven't updated.
Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, obviously, Genesis, Intellivision, Mega CD, Neo Geo, NES, Odyssey, Sega Master System, SNES, TurboGrafx 16. I don't know what a VC4000 is. Vectrex, WonderSwan. Yeah. So, lots of systems. Okay, let's continue with his comment. The Xbox Series X can run emulation via dev mode. Once again, that requires setup, yes or no, right? And it's also it's not cycle accurate. This is for those, elitists who want it to run with perfect, with no lag. And also, some of the cores now actually have save states, by the way.
Yes, dude, that is awesome.
He goes on to say, you got Game Pass and then the library of games for the Series X and backwards compatibility. Yeah, I mean, definitely. So this almost comes off as like you only have $500 to spend one time. So what are you going to go with? A Series X, which is $500, or a MiSTer? Why not both? You know what I mean? Get your modern fix and your retro fix the right way.
If anyone plays retro games, they know that shit is not cheap. Now, there's cheap ways of playing it. Yeah, you could get a Raspberry Pi and play that, but that's just the gateway drug. It'll lead you to wanting physical cartridges. It'll lead you to shit. When it comes down to it, the value you get out of MiSTer for wanting something so fucking accurate, I feel like a fucking commercial, man. Just because I love this shit, I'm so passionate about it. It's weird because I didn't care about it till I actually got one, and I started tinkering around with it, getting on Twitter, communicating with the community. It's like, dude,
bro, you nailed it. You nailed it. The Pi, or when I got, you got to understand, when I got my first Raspberry Pi, it was gifted to me. right?
Oh,
And it was my brother, and he said, I know you love all this retro shit, and I need you to help me figure out mine, you know? And I know
yeah.
you can do it. And it fucking grew into a YouTube channel. Crazy. But it was the gateway drug. And then, I discovered like Mad Little Pixel, and I saw all the cool projects he was doing with real hardware. And I just went down that path. And then I discovered the analog devices that it had, so many solutions in one device. Then I discovered the MiSTer. It's got everything.
Yeah, dude. It's badass, man.
Let me continue with this comment. So he says, overall, I would opt for a less expensive alternative for emulation versus buying the MiSTer. I understand, fair. If you had a choice, if you only have so much time and you had to only pick one system, and you prefer an Xbox Series X over the MiSTer, I totally get where he's coming from.
Yeah, it's two different things. I mean, that's when it comes down to like,
right.
You get so much money, what you want to spend it on. But yeah, totally get it.
So I got a comment here from Retro Rican. He says, I think he's responding to Blitzkrieg. He says, Xbox Series X cannot do FPGA emulation. I'll stick with the MiSTer when it comes to simulating. It's not emulation, it's simulation. Okay. NES, GBA, Game Boy, right? He lists off all the systems, CPS 1 and 2. You guys don't understand how huge that is. He could have just done a whole video on CPS 1 and 2 and Neo Geo. Yeah. And imagine when CPS 3 comes out, the Third Strike community, fucking amazing. The less latency, the better with my retro gaming. And he even has the option of hooking it up to a CRT. Yeah, I think the My Life and Gaming guys did a video. One of those channels did a video where they hooked up their PS4 to a CRT monitor, and it looked ridiculous. The aspect ratio was off. It was just like, geez, man.
Yeah, Review Tech USA's done the same thing. He hooked a modern console. I'm not sure if it was PS4, PS5, one of those to, or maybe it was one of the Series X. I don't know what it was to a CRT. It looks fucking funny. It's hilarious.
So let me address the chat really quick because I haven't had a chance to greet everybody. Pest is here. Smash JT. Hot Tub Mafia in the house. GMC. Games, Movies, and Castlevania. Good to see you, Wolfenos. Damien, deal with it. Retro Rican. Retro Gaming Star. How you doing, buddy? Overthink Gaming's in the chat. Who invited that guy?
Look at Reggie.
Radical Reggie. Camera User. Video Game Lover 58. Biggie B. Quesadilla Padilla. Mick Hero, RS Matrix, SGR Unleashed stop by. Thank you, sir. Yes. Good to see you guys. So the last comment comes to us from Victory Leo. He says, not worth it. No Sega Saturn, no Dreamcast, no PS1, no PS2 complete library. Okay. Let's unravel this one. Sega Saturn, it's being worked on. Dreamcast, that's a no-no because there's only so much power on these devices. PS1, it can handle, it's being worked on. Once again, Dreamcast and PS2, you're going to have to, get a modern computer, like an Xbox Series X. Maybe Victory Leo is younger and maybe really hardcore into PS2. So definitely, the Xbox Series X, running those emulators and on a PC might be the solution for you. It all depends what you're looking for.
It's all what you want, but if you want like something that's psycho accurate away from hardware, it's not there yet. And that's the thing. But hey, it's however you want to play. If you want to play emulation, you're fine with it. I play emulation for like a lot of those more modern. I say more modern, but like I played Dreamcast emulation, or you could get the original hardware. Have that with the GDMU. To mod, to put all your games on the SD card, and it is, I mean, whatever you guys want to do to game, but it's like the MiSTer project. You gotta, if you've been there, once you get one, and then you realize like how hard these guys are working, and they're putting out cores like constantly. They're working on it hard. It takes time. It's not something that's like all of a sudden it's going to be caught up to date. Oh, FPGA, is up to date right now. We're doing PS2 and all this and. I say up to date, but you know what I mean, man. It's like, dude, we still got a way to go. And plus, with the hardware, there was so much drama that was going on with the RAM. Man, there was a lot of drama. I think they've been working on this RAM. They want to add more somehow, but the D10 Nano only has that one spot. I don't know, dude. I don't really know. That's like engineering shit right there.
It has 2 spots, but the second spot is being used for the I/O board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what, man. So if they can somehow, it's gonna evolve. It's gonna have to grow past that D10 Nano sometime. But it's just right now what they're doing is amazing. I guess I don't understand. Like, I'm so stuck on it that when people compare it to like it doesn't have this or that, it's all like, dude, it has a lot. It just like chill out. They'll eventually get more and more. Their arcade, dude, is like, once they get Mortal Kombat, dude, I think I'm sold and I don't want anything else for a while. Yeah. But we'll see if any of the devs actually want to do that, man. I don't think anybody does.
Retro Rican says, I wonder if they're working on N64. Fuck the N64.
Dude. You know what? Hey, talk about. I want to hear you, Level One. Just say your thoughts on the N64, because I've been playing a lot of N64 this week. What are your thoughts? I don't know what you think about the N64.
The N64, man. It's got a handful of good games. Let's start with the good. Like the Diddy Kong Racing, Super Mario Kart, right? Super Mario 64 really became the outline of how to do those types of games, right? It had so much influence, but they ruined Donkey Kong Country, right? The next Donkey Kong Country 64 is garbage. Mm-hmm. It did not have good role-playing games, right? Where's the Final Fantasy? Where was the next Chrono Trigger on that system? No. Because it didn't support CD.
Yeah, of course, that's where they fucked up. Going to cartridge, a lot of games didn't get to make it. We didn't have a Metroid that time. They hardly made any games, man. They really fell behind from PlayStation. But what were you say?
Okay, and then they introduced Smash Brothers.
Oh my God! I think that ruined everything, right?
That altered. We're living on the bad timeline. Overthink. That we are living. Look what's happened, bro. Look what's happened in the past year with the quote unquote pandemic. We are living in the bad timeline, right? There's a good timeline out there, right? Where they actually had CD support, right? All of the Square Enix games came to the Nintendo 64 CD, right? And bro, we're all millionaires, living on the beach in that alternate universe, man. But no, instead we're here living in our mommy's basement.
I know you blame a lot of the way society acts right now. A lot of these man children, you blame the N64.
Yes,
for a lot.
It created a lot of these guys, man.
That Smash Brothers, the 4-player thing. I don't know what it is about Smash players. They are some of the weirdest people in the. I know we're getting.
I heard you instinctually sniffing. Yes, they smell.
Yeah, they smell the way they do their fucking pop offs at a fucking tournament. They're weird. Some guy just did one and they were making fun of him. He was doing like some Luigi little thing that looks like the worm. They're just weird people, man. It's just, I do believe that. When you said that comment, though, you said, you blame a lot of stuff on the N64. It makes me fucking laugh, dude. So that's why I just had to bring that part up.
Can you imagine if, let's say, there is an N64 core that gets released?
I would be happy.
And the Smash community starts buying up all of the Mr Fpga devices. And you start to see 4 guys huddled up in front of a LCD monitor with a MiSTer playing,
and they for Smash. That's it.
Yes, playing Smash only for Smash.
Oh man, that would be funny. But you know what? That is funny. Is there's something funny about 64 emulation? I've been seeing in the chat that they got it running decent on the Pi. With I guess there's a way of doing it. I don't know anything about that. I have to run it on my high end PC to run decent. But there's something about the emulation that just is not right. Because remember, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but it was during the E3, maybe about 2-3 years ago. They showed some kind of they were going to have some kind of HDMI clone console that plays 64 games. So people got excited. It was thrown on YouTube. A couple of the big creators, were talking about it. I forgot who made it. I can't remember, but it like never came out. It's I think it was using I forgot which emulator it was using. Like, dude, I had hope back then, but now I have no hope that we're gonna see any emulation on 64 like great, unless it's on a really good PC. Like my PC runs it fucking awesome, but it seems like we're almost there, but still not there, man. And I can't wait for that time. There's something about that 64, dude. I like to play those games, but it's really hard to emulate.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna cut off the stream here, guys. I think I've hit all the points I want to. I'm
still with the 64. We need to end this shit.
Anyways, we got some N64 fans who just popped into chat. Let me go ahead and get rid of these losers. Hold on. See you later. Hold on. There was another weirdo who stopped by. Hold on. So anyways, Overthink Gaming, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Do you have any closing comments before we wrap up shop?
Not really. I'm just gonna say this is fun. This was awesome, and yeah, dude. I just hope some people have a better appreciation, or if you've never heard of the MiSTer, you heard this conversation, just kind of check it out. Look up some of Level 1's old videos on it. It's fucking awesome, man. It's a badass thing. I'm glad that we talked about this, because when you told me about that video and I saw it, like, we were on the same page, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate that. All right, guys, we're going to sign off. You guys have a good night. And once again, just as a final thing I want to say, I'm not shitting, I'm not putting down, Metal Jesus's video. I just think he dwelled a little too much on a certain negative aspect, and there's so much more positive things to talk about, and I just really wish he could have just gave those other systems more love. Okay? But anyways, thanks again, Overthink. You guys have a great night. Take care.